he has a fan club. Jarvis Butts has a fan club. Why? I'm going to tell you why if I were in his fan club and I had that mentality. But first, I want to show you some of the pictures that I found on this one of the many fan club accounts. This one right here, and as you can see at the bottom, or you may not be able to see based on how this cut up, it says Jarvis wifey, but they put this picture up. Hate it. Give it to me like you won't let me forget. Nothing about this picture is flattering, but go off. I may be young, but I'm ready to give you all my love, Dee Dee. That one almost sent me over the roof. But I want to talk about why. This one, y'all really believe this man did that? Just look at him. Oh my God. Yes, we do believe it. But let me come down. Girl, Jarvis going to be in there for a while. That's what somebody commented right now. And they said, no, he not. Stop wishing bad for him. And people were going, and people are trying to talk to whoever this is, if this even is a real person. But I digress. This one, I'll give you some good loving. Same from the same account. And this is not just the one account. There are many. How I feel after blocking all the ladies that bash Jarvis. And they got this fake AI thing. Somebody says, oh my God, look how crazy, look how exy he is. Now, mind you, this is just one of the many. So it's like a bunch of them. Now, this one, almost maturing is realizing it's his case and he can do whatever he wants because y'all didn't have him. No, you can't. But now I'm going to pull down and tell you how I would be in this fan club if it was me. First of all, I've been doing 20 years writing about characters just like this to get people to open their eyes. You got to start watching the people that you have around your babies. This is one of my most controversial books, but I have spent my career not only writing these type of characters so that we can get awareness, but also researching them. So now let's go into how I would be a member. Love ain't pretty. Sometimes you got to hold a man down. Trauma bonding. When I was researching this, actually all of my characters, because it seems like the characters that are the most enriched are the ones who actually have gone something, which is why I don't write flawed characters. I mean, characters who are not flawed. Technically, whenever you're writing any type of story, you want to make sure that your character has issues so that you can actually build them up and allow them to learn the lesson they need to learn. But trauma bonding, the whole girl that be like, look, I'm going to stand by him no matter what. I don't care what nobody say. It's one of the things like, y'all know, if y'all been following this case or just in life, especially people who grew up in the streets and things like me. I grew up in Southeast DC before I moved all around the states, Texas and a few other places. You gravitate towards what you know. So the trauma bond that keeps you in play would definitely make people who feel like they got to beat on this man's fan club, they may feel like they justify it because of it. The abuse, the makeup phase, the breakup phase, the cycle. This stuff is addictive. I know I'm not talking to just anybody. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but it is addictive. And if you aren't aware of it, you can easily find yourself in it if you don't have the skills necessary to be able to do something about it. So the trauma bonding is one thing. The dark triad appeal. I like me a man that got some edge to him. You know what I'm saying? If he ain't got no edge, I don't want him. So that's what we call the dark triad appeal, which is very dangerous and can lead some of the people who may be gravitating towards his fan club. Society tells women that the ideal man is powerful, he's confident, he's strong, like this creep right here that I prompted to bring my point home. It tells us that you need a man that's dominant. But what happens when that power turns into control, like being overbearing? But if you look at and people who are in true crime know I'm telling the truth, some of the killers, the ones who do multiple unalivings, they also have these big fan bases, which the same thing happens. It's because there's something about the person that they feel that soft dudes are not it, that if you do a little thing, even if it's unaliving, then that gives you some edge or some credibility in the streets. hate it, but it's the truth. The next one I want to talk to you guys about is the savior complex. The savior complex. The savior complex, a lot of women fall into this, especially if this person did not tell you that he was a monster before. Now, in this fan club, they already know. They already know what's going on. They know who he is. They've seen who he is. They've heard who he is. But if they are used to these kind of men, or if they hear him talking and he's able to appeal to them in any kind of way, that'll have some women sweep in. You don't know him like I do. You don't know him like how I know him. I'm telling you, he's a good man, and I just need to pray on him. I just need to cook for him. You know, when he come out, I'm going to show him that I can be way better than that Shannon or whoever else. This is the kind of women who could gravitate to this man's fan club. And it's a big fan club. The next one is I love a man that got bodies. There is something, hybristophilia, which is the addiction or the attraction to crime. Now, when I was coming up, I grew up in Southeast DC. I probably had a tad bit of that. One would say that I have it now. I'm not attracted to the crime. Like, I don't like the gory details of it all. But I'm more interested in the psychological. Why is this happening? Which is why I have spent my career writing from anti-hero standpoints. I don't ever write books where everything goes out right. But when I was coming up, the dope boy that's moving weight and all that kind of stuff, those were the individuals that I was attracted to. Now, you would think that there would be some separation because of what he did, but some women put this in the same way, especially if it happens a lot in their lives, meaning that they're used to seeing this kind of man around them. They're used to seeing this kind of man around them. Absolutely, they could fall into this standpoint where they could be attracted to it in some kind of way. Look at Richard Ramirez. He had women lining up to marry him. This fool got people lining up to marry him. It happens time and time again. Okay. Social rebellion. So people who are also probably in this fan club are trying to rebel. But you know what I noticed though? Even with the rebelling, they like to keep their faces hidden. Show yourselves. If this is what you really feel, show yourself. And they ain't doing it. Still, social rebellion is my family don't like the people I have in my life anyway. I'm already a F up, so what do I care about getting with a man who is accused of doing such and such? The same mentality, the same way of thinking, the same way of looking at stuff. Rebelling on purpose, even in this situation where a baby is missing. You can't make this up. The projection of power. Look at this thing. Ain't it a mess? Ooh, sometimes I be prompting and my prompting go crazy, honey. And I be like, ugh. But if he ain't got a pass, he can't protect me. I like him to have edge on him. So if he ain't got a pass, he can't protect me. We would think the people who are following this case and the people who are going to be going, like I'm going to be delving into it once the trial happens, we would think that we would stand far away from these kind of individuals, but not people. Have you heard this man talk on the phone? I'm going to get one of the videos and have him talking about it. He sounds bizarre, like very, almost like a pimp. You know what I mean? So women who grew up in like in unsafe environments are automatically gravitating towards those kind of men. Coming from poverty, coming from dangerous backgrounds. He had a reputation. You notice he had a reputation, and people still did not mind. Even the people that knew him, his family, still didn't mind having him around. Because there was something about him that they felt was powerful. That he was able to project. And they bought into it. Ugh. Cognitive dissonance. Now, this is along the lines of he's innocent. Now, we heard from Shannon's great aunt that allegedly she brought it up, said, look, this is what happened. And she allegedly said the girl is lying. So this is the system is always trying to take a good black man down. I'm sick of it. Always trying to take a good black man down. I'm not listening to it. When the truth is too painful to accept, that the mind will make excuses. When the truth is too painful to accept that he is out here really doing this, they'll make excuses. The fan club people who really should not even be involved in this are having huddles in circles where this is the mind play. And it makes me wonder if this is not somebody we know. Is this somebody we know who's running these fan pages? Somebody that's already involved in this? I ain't making no assumptions, but I'm just asking. I'm asking for a friend because it just is so far out there. Learned helplessness. Okay. Ain't no good man out. Ain't no man perfect. At least I know what to deal with him, So I'm just going to listen to all the facts in the case before I make any assumptions and all that kind of stuff. But learned helplessness comes from when a woman feels trapped, she stops believing that she can escape. And so she develops learned helplessness. The belief that no matter what, all men do the same thing. So I'm joining his fan club because I'm used to it. I see it all the time. My uncle was like that, and everything worked out, and he's just fine. You see where I'm going with it. Learned helplessness. But what they don't realize is that you can unconsciously find yourself in a situation that you are so deep involved in that now you may find yourself having to go to court. A few of the people who are around this man may have to answer to court. This is serious. So that learned helplessness is going to end up having to change, because you know what I mean. It's just it's deep at this point. So when I found that fan club, that was one of the things that I said, what would have some people gravitate towards it? Trauma bonding. Crime, people who are addicted to crime. I believe that's a lot of it because it's online. Social rebellion, projection of power. They feel like he's powerful. They feel like people is lying. Cognitive dissonance. The folks is lying. The savior complex. Look, when he get out and I get a hold of him, he gonna be fine. Learn helplessness because they're so used to being in a helpless environment. When they see him, they feel like he's helpless too. He's just like me. The dark triad, men that are over macho, alpha. Real alphas don't feel the need to dominate, but I digress. I'll talk about that later. But those are the things. Make sure you subscribe if you want to follow this case. When this case come out, I will be going over this case in great detail. Make sure you give it a like. Talk to you soon.